boxing,
beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.
A few months short of his 40th birthday, coming off 4 losses in 5 fights. Deontay Wilder's fight on Friday, June the 27th, will actually be shown live on Dazn. He takes on Tyrrell Herndon. Wilder has a record of 43 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 42 of them wins inside the distance. His opponent, Tyrrell Herndon, is 6'3", has a total of 29 fights, 24 wins, 5 losses, 15 inside the distance. Before anybody says, "Beat, you tripping, it's not on pay-per-view." That's what it says here. It says it's on pay-per-view. If I'm going live, I'll pay for it. If not, no. So we'll see. But it depends on the pricing as well. How much are they charging? I didn't see a price. BLK Prime, the graveyard shift, Sunday morning, probably £19.99. No more than that in the UK. Deontay, an aging, fading force, will still be expected to beat Tyrrell Herndon. But Wilder is in such bad form, a lot of us will be wondering, is the decline that bad that he could possibly lose to this guy? We'll see Friday. I'm hearing Malik Scott will not be in his corner. Will that make a difference? And when I say that, will that make a difference for better or for worse?
Boxing,
Beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.
Eddie Hearn, he said he's thinking 20th September or October the 4th. The 27th of September was a potential date for the rematch, but Spurs are playing on that day. But the rematch will be back at White Hart Lane, by all accounts. And if you're wondering who I'm talking about, that's EUBANK Jr. versus Conor Benn. That will be a general entertainment Saudi card. Turkey also planning a big card in November. Jerome Boots Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz. Bacoli versus Moses Itoma. Cepeda versus Andy Cruz. Why would he announce an Andy Cruz-Cepeda fight before the result of Cepeda's fight with Stevenson? Does he know something we don't? And Christian Mbili versus Lester Martinez. I'm not very familiar with Lester Martinez. Didn't Mbili have a fight coming up? On the undercard of Canelo versus Crawford, they're talking about Big Baby Jarrell Miller versus Big Baby Jared Anderson. That's a strange one. I say strange because I heard Jarrell Miller talking about Jared Anderson would be a straight up cherry pick for Anthony Joshua, dismissing any notion that Jared Anderson should take that fight. Maybe that's why he was doing it. He's trying to secure that fight for himself, secure the bag. And apparently he's trying to make INOUE versus Picasso, whoever he is. Can he fight? I don't know, man. His name's just making me think of paintbrushes and canvases. I don't know, no. Picasso gloves him up. INOUE, wasn't he supposed to be fighting MJ Akhmadaliev, his mandatory? That's a long-awaited fight. So it's very speculative at best, these announcements. But we'll see what happens and what doesn't. Oscar De La Hoya coming out of retirement to face Jake Paul. I don't think Oscar's that stupid. I don't think he's that stupid. I mean, he was supposed to fight that Vitor Belfort. What happened to that fight? Cocaine, a hell of a drug. Makes you think you're invincible when you're actually not. Speaking of pay-per-views on Dazn, Jake Paul takes on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. this Saturday at the Honda Center, California, IA. Once again, if I'm going live, I'll pay for it. If not, I'm going to my bed. Okay, so this is a MVP / Oscar De La Hoya promotion. They got some decent fights on there. Schofield versus Tevin Farmer isn't bad. Holly Holmes on there. They've got 2 unbeatens here at welter, Royal Curiel and Victor Ezequiel Rodriguez. And of course, Gilberto Ramirez versus INOUE Dorticus. Ramirez was just starting to gain my appreciation as a fighter. But listen to what he's saying. This is a great opportunity, and I look forward to putting on a great performance for my fans. I think there's a chance of a possible world title fight in the future against Paul. He mentioned that he was ready to challenge me during a recent press conference. I do believe he's a man of his word, and he meant it. The goal is still the same, becoming undisputed cruiserweight champion, but we could still make the Paul fight next. We'll see if he's about the action or if it was just talk. I'm getting close to 50 wins, but my focus has always been on becoming a legend in the sport and collecting belts. And you see, here's the thing. He's already fought on a General Entertainment Authority card with the Saudis. He's already fought on one, so he knows what kind of money is available. A unification against OPETAIA is likely to be a General Entertainment Authority situation. So boxers no longer have the excuse that it's prize fighting. That's why they're taking this fight ahead of a unification. No longer have that excuse. And just hearing that, I don't believe he's going to go for the OPETAIA fight if he beats DORTICUS. I'm rooting for DORTICUS to knock him out. I doubt it can happen, but I'm rooting for it. That's what I'm rooting for. You know, hey, listen, if you're getting tired of me talking about Tom and Jerry fights, I'm not apologizing. To me, the attitude of fighters like Zurdo is the bigger issue in boxing than how the boxers fight. That's the bigger issue to me. I couldn't care less if he breaks the CompuBox record for cruiserweight frame punches over 12. I couldn't care less if he's not doing it against the best. But we're all exercising our options. And that's the great thing about the streaming technology. Because he's just made up my mind for me that I'm not paying for the Golden Boy card. If he's not committing to the unification, I'm not paying for it. That's off the table. August the 16th, Moses Atoma Dillian, Nick Bull versus Sam Goodman, Anthony Kakache versus Ray Ford, Hrgovic versus Adilier. That's going to be in Riyadh. That's another £19.99. Overkill, pay-per-view, what do you reckon?
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one
Can do it better.
Ben Whittaker lives nearabouts to Birmingham. He was at the Yafai Rodriguez card on Saturday. Matchroom card. There's a few transcripts that came out when he and Eddie Hearn spoke at the card. Eddie Hearn says Matchroom could do some sensational things with Ben Whittaker. But then Eddie revealed they shared some interesting conversations, which could mean anything. When asked whether Whittaker potentially joining Matchroom had been discussed, Hearn responded, "We had some interesting conversations, but as I understand it, he's under contract and we wouldn't interfere. If he ever becomes available, I think we could do sensational things with Ben Whittaker. But until then, no conversations." Interesting. When there was a definite standoff between Hearn and Ben Shalom, you know, Ben Whittaker was saying stuff like he believes that Boxer set him up when that Ezra kid invaded the press conference. And I don't have the receipts, but I've put them up on these uploads where he was hinting he would go over to Matchroom, where he was projected to go before he turned pro, him and Fraser Clark, until Sky broke the bank to get them over that side of the street. And Eddie's flirted back that yes, Ben Whittaker is going to be a Matchroom fighter, or should be a Matchroom fighter. But he said it in a joking manner. And this announcement that Ben Shalom was supposed to make about a new deal, look, these things can often take longer than what was projected. So it could still happen. But he was talking about a few days until this big announcement. A few days have gone since that Oakwood card where Cannon Simpson headlined, and we haven't heard anything. And from what I'm hearing, some of the fighters may be out of contract with Ben Shalom, but they're still in contract with Sky, depending how the paperwork has been drafted up with the individual contracts. Whittaker looked two different fighters from the first Liam Cameron fight to the rematch. It's got to be said. I don't think that's enough to redeem his name for a lot of people, but, you know, winning impressively is the most you can do in any fight, and he did that. And Eddie, and even Frank Warren, would be interested in that signature. I guarantee that. He deserves an opportunity at the big time, and who knows, maybe Ben Shalom will get a deal and deliver that for him. Who knows? If you were going to push me though, I think he's heading over to Matchroom. I don't know when, but sometime soon I think he's heading over to Matchroom.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one
Can do it better.
Like, people selling that stuff, like, even the picture where everybody was in the room, that shit look like some devilish shit. Facts though, cold right here. That shit like some devilish shit, like they sold that suit.
Yeah, you go with that.
But that was crazy.
Isn't that more the reason why you can't walk away? Like the game,
Yeah, like,
when Jay-Z say can't leave rap alone, the game needs me. We're in Brooklyn.
yeah. They've been sounding like they've been getting messed up over there, bro. Like, everything is different. Like, they've been getting sick, and not only one fighter. Like, they've been numerous fighters that have been getting sick down there. So I don't know, bro.
So it went from he needed 2 Ferraris before he'd even contemplate talking to Turkey. Then he claimed everybody who went out there sold their soul, that the picture that the boxers in Turkey took had some satanic connotation to it. Then he spoke about the Hamza Shiraz fight and the scorecards, and you know why they want to bring Tank over there? Because they're going to rob him, is what he was insinuating. So what has changed now? Because according to Mike Coppinger, Tank went on Twitter.
We saw Gervonta Davis a couple of days ago say on Twitter that now he wants to work with you. I don't have a problem with him or any fighters.
Yeah.
If he respects what we are doing to the boxing, I don't have any problem.
What is he doing? Is he fighting Jake Paul? Is the Lamont Roach rematch locked in? Is that signed up? And if so, why is he talking about a Turkey Al Sheikh partnership? Tank is lost. He's lost. So he's prepared to sell his soul. Because according to him, they're going to rob him on the scorecards out there. So he's willing to accept that, go into a fight believing he's going to get robbed if it goes to the scorecards, because he's selling out for the bag.
And you see how the guy was, he looked at the scorecard.
Turkey hopped up.
Who want to get Tank over here and fight? Man, I already know what y'all going to do.
And to anyone listening to this channel, all the people who were talking about Canelo, INOUE, and Tank were taking these principled stances against Turkey because they can't be bought. They have integrity and they won't sell their soul. Well, where's the rest of the rebels? Because as far as I know, they've all bought in. They've all bought in. The dates, the money has dried up over there where Tank is on his side of the street. The only place he can go to get big money in boxing is you know where. So let's stop with the bullshit.
Get off the bullshit.
Let's hear what the rest of what Turkey had to say.
And if you want the green light from Hearn, in each card we have 1 or 2 fights with him. It depends about him. If you want to enjoy the fast train for the glory, you know where he can search. And of course, I like and I respect the loyalty for his partner Hearn. Of course, this is something make him, in my eyes, big, and I respect it. Because loyalty is important in the life. He's a good fighter. But he need to understand that what we are doing is important for boxing. We work with who respect us, and we have a tough fight. We don't have normal fight.
Turkey wants to work with Tank. He kept mentioning the loyalty to Al Haymon. He sees that as a redeeming quality, despite what everyone has to say about Tank. He sees that as a very redeeming quality. And that's why it seems that Keith Connolly and Hitchens have backtracked on this free agency thing. Because Turkey, as soon as he got wind that Richardson was going to go for Dolo, he let him know, you're not going to fight on none of the cards unless you're promoted by Eddie. So one thing we found out, that's something that Turkey admires in Tank, even though they've been at loggerheads. And he knows if he works with Tank and Haymon and can gain their trust, you match him up in the right fights, Tank is potentially one of the biggest stars in the game. But what fighter do we have with Tank Davis post Lamont Roach? Has he been exposed as a cherry picker who's been impressive because he's had it all his own way and hasn't took the toughest challenges? How is it going to work with Turkey demanding a headstrong character like Tank? You've got to take tough fights, and we know what he means by tough fights, the fights that he's been avoiding. I'm not convinced about this partnership between Tank and Turkey, but then again, I'm not privy to what business is going on between Turkey and Al Haymon, so we'll see.
A couple of weeks ago, they offered me to fight Moses I-TUMOR in Saudi. So I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I don't know why you're taking this fight, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
Dillian, if Dirk was speaking to me about not fighting Moses I-TUMOR, or pronounce it the way he said it, I-TUMOR, a brain tumor for Dillian if he goes in the ring with Moses, I'd have second thoughts too. Now, look, I'm not making light of it. And I've already mentioned you can't discount Dillian's experience. But make no mistake, this is a fight that Dillian doesn't take without the Saudi bag's influence. I saw James Ali Bashir disappointed when Dillian pulled out from the late call-up on the Fabio Huni card. He was disappointed because his fighter was supposed to get some work against Dillian. And Dillian pulled out on what was financial grounds. let's not beat around the bush. Some people said he pulled out because he didn't want to fight on Fabio's card. Bull crap. If what Derek is saying is true and he was offered $2 million and Dillian is getting anywhere near around that figure to go in the ring with Moses, that's why the fight's happening. It's not because of the Gareth Davis theory, which was ridiculous, that Moses has a #1 ranking and if Dillian wins that, it's great incentive. That's the story Dillian uses for the press to sell the fight. And Gareth knows that. I've heard some people say Dillian's not going to take the fight. He's not going to show up. Listen, for that type of purse, if they have to amputate Dillian's finger that he injured, that stopped the Joe Joyce fight, he's still going to go in the ring for that type of purse. Trust me, he's going to be in there. The only way he doesn't take that fight is if he pops for Peds. Derek is a bona fide top 10 heavyweight, #2 with the IBF, I believe #7 with the WBO. He's put a little run of wins together recently. So he has more options than Dillian, than take the Moses I-TUMOR fight. Derek is looking at the Joe Joyce fight, and Joe Joyce is looking at that fight. A lot of people are saying, why is Joyce going to take that fight? If they can put that in the O2, fill it out, Derek optimistically says Wembley or in Riyadh, they count bank. It's as simple as that.
But to be frank, I don't give a fuck. I got money in the bank.
Boxing
Beats and rhymes.
No one
can do it better.